Hello there YouTube, Devin here again, and today I have another Russian World War I video to show you. Now this jacket wasn't actually made in World War I or anywhere remotely near World War I, but it remained pretty much unchanged from like the 1600s right into modern times. Now there's two basic versions of this that were out during World War I. There's this version and the Navy version. So this would be like the Land Forces version. The Navy version was a little bit different, but we'll get into that. And you see them issued to both forces universally. Actually, I've seen Army personnel issued Navy ones, and I've seen Navy personnel issued Land Forces ones. This one is obviously not World War I, but the only thing you'd have to do to make it World War I is change the plastic buttons to brass or copper buttons, which I just haven't got around to yet. I've had this jacket for a few years now, and this is my nice one. I have one. I bought these both at the same time for about $100 each, which is a very good deal for these. This would be the big winter greatcoat or overcoat. And this is the leather and fur version. This isn't the wool version. I like this one better than the wool version. I have had the wool versions. I just like this one better. So I have this one, which I wear for my indoor demonstrations and everything like that. This is my one that I keep nice because this is my black and gold one. The one that I wear out in the field, which was kind of an off-white color, is now kind of faded to brown. And the sheepskin on the inside of that one is mostly kind of an off-white, kind of tan color as well. But it was off-white on the outside because this is the leather on the outside and the fur is facing inward. So this is, it was just natural colored. It was kind of off-white, and it's now kind of light brown with all the dirt that I've had on it. So, this is basically a leather overcoat. It's called a bekesha. It comes down to about knee length. It's got a black fur collar, as you can see here. It's secured with loops, little leather loops around the buttons. Once again, like I said, to change one of these, you can still buy these today on eBay and all over the internet. You can just change the buttons on them as long as you know how to sew. It won't be hard. This one is like I said, it's gold fur lined. This is kind of a rarer combination, I guess. This one's very clean. As you can see, very warm. I take care of this. I make sure to condition it. And I actually brush the inside of the fur here to keep it kind of fluffy and to keep it from getting matted down and everything like that, so it holds heat better. The pockets are like potato sack lined. Nothing super nice. It's kind of a thin, you could see through this if you held it up to the light. It's a size 52. You can see there. Tells you how to take care of it. It's just a stamp on the pocket. Here's the other pocket, which is just the slash pocket. Really the only difference between this one, which is the Land Forces one, and the Navy one is two major differences. The Navy ones will have an extra chest flap up here, an extra piece of leather fur, and all it is that. It's just provide extra warmth to your core, and rather than having slash pockets on the outside, they actually have button pockets that are flat instead of having these slash pockets. So now oftentimes they really cut to one length, and it doesn't really matter what size you buy. I actually kind of recommend a little bit larger because the fur is very thick. So I normally recommend you would get a larger size if you're buying one of these than what you normally wear. I normally wear a Russian size 50, so I went a size above that for 52. So that way I could wear more layers under it to be historically accurate. You would be wearing your full wool uniform under this in World War I. So I wanted to make sure that would all fit comfortably and not restrict my breathing or my movement too much. This is going to restrict your movement. It's a very heavy coat. This coat probably weighs about 20 pounds. Just because of how thick and how heavy the fur is. Just so you guys know that. As you can see, it's pretty rough stitching on the inside. It will hold together quite easily, but it's just a pinch. And I've actually, on this jacket, gone over all the seams again myself with T70 nylon thread, since they're all just pinched. So they're pretty easy to just crease like this and then run through the sewing machine and get some extra rows of stitching just so it wouldn't come apart. I've also done extra rows along the skirt, along the bottom, along the collar. I've reinforced all the button loops. This jacket is very easy to do maintenance on because it's actually very simple to construct. So I just figured I'd let you guys see this. This is the winter coat that I like to wear, the Bekesha, the fur one, and this is the rare black and gold model. They normally come very mismatched in color, and this jacket was introduced somewhere around the 1600s from what I understand, and very little's changed. They usually had wooden toggles on them to begin with, but other than that, this jacket's been pretty much the same and issued to the Russian military for going on, over 400 years now. Probably pretty close to 400 years. So, hopefully you guys like this video. You subscribe if you like this sort of thing. Once again, I highly recommend you get one of these if you live in a colder environment. They're very classy too. I wear mine every winter, and I get lots of compliments on it and everything like that. Be aware though, like most Soviet surplus and most Russian surplus, a lot of these are going to come from the Cold War era, so usually from the 50s to the 80s you'll see these constructed, because after that they started going to a kind of fabric out over the leather outside to help protect the leather a little bit more. I highly recommend you Scotch guard these really hard, actually, because they do kind of bleed the black dye. This one has bled some black dye on it, so I Scotch guarded it really good. Because if you try to touch it or undo the buttons when it's wet, sometimes the black dye will rub off on your fingers. So I just Scotch guarded it really good, and that seems to keep the problem away. And these do tend to stink. They tend to smell like a Soviet warehouse. And fur holds stink really well, so I recommend when you do buy yours that you kind of give it a good brush down right away, and then, spray it with something that's not going to be harsh on it, like chemical-wise, something like Febreze. But make sure you read your air freshener or anything first like that to make sure it's not going to be harsh on the materials and such, so you don't start hurting your jacket actually, and then leave it outside to air out for a very long time. If you can, because otherwise it's going to smell pretty bad and you don't want to wear it in public because people are going to think you smell weird. So, but knowing that, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you liked this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.